Hey, good morning, everyone. Tom Bird here, incident meteorologist with Southwest Team 2 on the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire. And we're here with your daily weather update. And I'm joined today by Vicki, who will be doing our signing. And we want to say thanks to Vicki for that. As usual, we'll start out with visible satellite imagery. This is captured from this morning, and really there's nothing very incredible to show on this, nothing real remarkable here. But what we do see across Texas, New Mexico, and into southern Arizona, just a bunch of scattered clouds just moving in every other little direction. That's all what we call debris clouds for the most part. And what we mean by debris clouds is when those showers and thunderstorms develop, they create all that cloudiness and then they dissipate away, but they leave behind some of these clouds. And so that's what we're looking at today. And really what that tells us as a meteorologist is that there's still a fair amount of moisture in place in the atmosphere over our area. What that means for us later today is that heat will generate another round of showers and thunderstorms, we think. So let's go on now to what it looked like yesterday with rainfall. If you remember yesterday, we had pretty high chances of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast for the fire and the surrounding area. And remember yesterday morning we got that strong push of easterly winds, which did push that moisture way west of us. And so what we ended up seeing was most of the shower and thunderstorm activity actually was to our west. However, we still did get some thunderstorms here on the Sangre de Cristo range. Most of it fell to our north. None of it fell over the Cook's Peak fire. But look here in the midsection of the Hermit's Peak fire here where we're at. We did have a number of showers, most of them fairly weak, but they did have some lightning in them, moved from northwest to southeast across the fire. Most of our automated weather stations did not report any rainfall because it fell just north of where we had them, but there is a permanent station here in Mora that did get 1/100th. We estimate we probably got anywhere between a couple of hundredths and a quarter inch on portions of the fire, but most of the area of the fire did not get any rain. However, we did get that beneficial bump in relative humidity. It was a really moist and cloudy day. Let's go on now. Okay, so here we are with our weather maps. We start out with today over here on the left-hand side, and we have moisture in play. Remember, I just mentioned that we're still behind this little weak stationary boundary. We still have a fair amount of low-level easterly wind, keeping some of this moisture across the state. And so we're just on that boundary between dry air starting to move in from the west and this moist air that's still in play. So we still have probably about a 40 to 50% chance that we'll see another round of showers and thunderstorms today over the fire. Go back, please. There we go. We hadn't got to Friday yet, so we need to go over here and see what Friday looks like. Notice no green hatch anywhere near us. That's because most of that moisture will have been flushed back to the east into the plains by deep westerly flow. However, it's not shown here, but we will still have just a little bit of residual moisture still in place, especially over the mountains. So what that means is with the heating, the upslope flow, that lift will create some clouds, and maybe we will see an isolated shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, but it'll be much reduced in coverage across the region. So now let's move on. So here's what we look like. This is today. I forgot to label these. This is tomorrow. So like I said, today we've got plenty of moisture still in place. We're in this region where we're expecting showers and thunderstorms. And as you move to the east, there's more dynamics, deeper moisture. What that means is stronger storms. So we're right on the edge where we would see severe storms here in east and just general thunderstorms mainly to our west. So we do have to watch out today. We could see some hail, some strong outflow winds. So we could see a few strong storms and some heavy rain. Here on the right-hand side, like I said, reduced moisture tomorrow, so maybe just a few general thunderstorms, but primarily dry across the region. Now here on the bottom, there's our rain chances. That's what it looks like through the weekend into Monday, and really just see more showers today and then pretty much dry through the weekend and into Monday. So let's move on. All right, we've been showing these graphs. This starts today and goes through next Saturday. Up here on the top is winds, and the thing to point out, these are wind gusts, is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Look at those. You have your strongest peaks, which showing our strongest winds. Those days, we're going to see deep southwesterly flow. we're going to have sustained winds of 20 to 25 up on those high peaks of the fire. And then we're going to see gusts 35 to 40. So those are windy days for us. Notice they correlate very nicely with this dip in moisture across our area. We're still moist today, but we're trending downward. So what that means for us is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, when we're seeing those winds, we're also going to be dry. Relative humidities drop really low during the day, these orange bars, and not a lot of recovery at night. So low relative humidity through the weekend into midweek. So that's a period where we're going to start elevating our fire weather conditions. And we're even thinking with those winds, those warmer temperatures, that drier air, we can see some critical fire weather upcoming with a couple red flags even possible. I think it would be Monday, maybe Sunday and Monday, where we might see red flags. So over here on the right real quick, here's our chances of rain today and maybe a little bit tomorrow. Then a dry weekend and early next week, and then we start seeing some moisture move in, and we'll show you why here shortly. So let's move on. So here we are now. We kind of introduced the weather that we're expecting today through the weekend into early next week. I want to take just a minute to show you why we have the conditions we have going forward. So let's go. This is going to be kind of indicative of what we see for the weekend and then early next week. This is a picture that shows us our pressure at the surface of the earth. Anywhere that you have low pressure, it's going to pull wind into it in a counterclockwise fashion. And so with low pressure to our east and to our north, that means we're going to have a wind from the southwest. That's a dry wind, and so that's why we'll be dry. But out here over Texas, Oklahoma, up into the plains, they're going to have winds going to the low coming off of the Gulf of Mexico, which means a lot of moisture pooled up to our east, but we're still in that dry air as long as we're within this low pressure pattern here. So that's tomorrow through probably Tuesday. But then Wednesday, the pattern changes. High pressure starts to build in from the north through the plains, sagging south towards Texas. The wind, the air likes to move away from high pressure in a clockwise fashion. So what that's going to do is take this moisture that's to our east and start pushing it west over our area where the fire is, and bringing us elevated relative humidity, those dew points, more clouds, and we'll start getting into thunderstorm chances again, like you saw at the end of the week on that last chart. So that's just kind of a look at how the pressure pattern works. Didn't want to really educate you on how this happens, but I just wanted you to know how it affects the weather and how the air moves, and the fact that it matters where that air comes from, because this air is coming from a dry region, and here Wednesday the air will be coming from a moist region. All right, let's move on. So every day we like to show this chart. It's our matrix that we use here on the fire so everybody knows what's happening. And of course, remember, we like to see those green boxes of moderated fire weather, and that's what we have today, with the moisture still up, the temperature somewhat down, a lot of clouds, and pretty fair storm chances. We talked about Friday being that day where we transition back towards dry, a lot lesser rain chances, not as many clouds, and lower relative humidity. Saturday through Tuesday, that's that period that we've talked about where we're really going to be dry. We're going to be excessively hot during the weekend. And then when we get into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, really starting to see an uptick in those southwesterly winds that really bring those very dry, somewhat warm, no clouds. This is when we get critical as far as fire weather goes. Luckily, it's going to be short-lived. Remember I said Wednesday on, we start to see some moisture. So let's move on. Since we're talking about showers and thunderstorms over the fire, and remember, that's a burn scar where now all of a sudden we don't have all that litter layer to hold that moisture, so it's going to flush out into those canyons and ravines and draws and create mud flows, debris flows, flash flooding. So it's important that you know where to get those warnings, because the National Weather Service in Albuquerque will be issuing warnings whenever they see moderate to heavy rain over some of these floods. So go to your local TV, radio folks, right? Be listening in for those If you have internet, go to the National Weather Service site, weather.gov/ABQ for Albuquerque. That's your local office. Your smartphone, you can enable it to get wireless emergency alerts based on your location. So you'll always get those alerts if you have cell phone coverage. And then finally, if you have a no-weather radio, that's a good thing to use. I think that's it for the day. So we thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day.